Welcome to Sales Funnel Mastery, and today we're talking about the numbers you need to know to improve your marketing and sales funnel efforts. So I've hopped on calls with people and we've talked all through what their desires are and what they want out of their business, and most of the time it's something really general like, well, we just want to grow, or we're down 10% from last year and we want to get back 10%. But the problem is when you start diving in deeper and asking them questions, they don't know their numbers. So if you're like, well, how many people visit your site? People might know that one, but it's more general. It's like, maybe like 50 to 100,000. Well, that's a pretty big spread of people, right? It's not super accurate. Or if you say, well, what's your conversion rate on this sales page? Well, I'm not sure. Okay, well, what kind of people are looking at your site? What are your demographics? Again, I'm not sure. To improve your marketing, these are numbers that you need to know. They're commonly referred to as KPIs, which are key performance indicators. And every business has different KPIs. Yours might be how much traffic you get to your website, or how much traffic you get to a landing page, or it might be how many people buy, or maybe how many people bought from this month to last month. There's an infinite amount, and each business is a little bit different. But today I want to bring out what I believe are the four most important KPIs for most businesses. Now, this is in no particular order, but one very important KPI is eyeballs. Not total web traffic and all that, but how many eyeballs are you getting on a page? So let's say you have 100,000 people coming to your website, or let's even go 1,000 people coming to your website every month. Let's make it smaller and more palatable. But let's say that only 100 of those people see your sales page. So really you don't have 1,000 opportunities necessarily, you might just have 100, okay? So you need to know how many eyeballs are going to your site, because if you want to build your business, one easy way is to play the numbers game. And theoretically, if you get more people to your website, then you'll have more sales if everything else stays the same, correct? So that's the one thing you need to know. Now, you can get into Google Analytics to tell you this. You can use products like SEMrush to tell you this, which is a Chrome plugin. But Google Analytics is going to obviously be your most accurate representation of your traffic. So know what your traffic numbers are. KPI number two. KPI number two is going to be your conversion rate. So let's say you have, like we talked about, 1,000 people coming to your sales page, and then you get 100 sales. Well, that's going to be 100 out of 1,000, which equals 10%. So your conversion rate's 10%. That's really good. If you're doing that, you're doing pretty well. Most people's are probably going to be more around the 0.5% to maybe 2% mark. That is a lot more industry standard. However, if you can take that 0.5% and take it to 1 or take it to 2, you're more than doubling your sales, more than doubling your revenue. So you don't have to take it from 1% to 25%, because for almost everything, that's just not realistic. So have the realistic goals in place. So know your conversion rate. And you can check that on Google too, on your analytics. So if you know 1,000 people through your Google Analytics are coming to this page, then to click the sales, let's say there's a sales button, and they click that and it takes them to a thank you page. Have Google Analytics tag that thank you page as a conversion under the goals section of Google Analytics. And that way Google can say, okay, so 100 people got to this page. They can only see this thank you page if they clicked this button on the sales page, and that counts as a conversion. So know your conversion rate for all your sales pages in order to grow. KPI number 3 for most businesses is to know your customer acquisition cost, okay? A lot of people assume that you need to be break even or better, but this is not necessarily true depending on how you're set up. For example, you might have it might cost you $10 to get people to buy a $2 widget, so you're at -8. But let's say you know the lifetime value of your customer is $50. So even though in stage 1 you've lost $8, in the end, you're really making 50 minus the 10 there and the 2, so minus the 8. So you're really coming up with a $42 profit. That's not a dollar sign, that's a dollar sign. All right? So you don't necessarily have to break even or even profit at the top of your sales funnel. If your company is a little bit newer and you can't be patient with the sales funnel, then you might want to try and get it as close as you can to breaking even or profitable, but you don't have to, okay? But you do need to know about how much a customer is worth and about how much it costs to get that customer. Now, if you go into Facebook ads, it will ask you to either bid automatically or bid manually. And depending on what you're doing, you can select either or, but if you bid manually, a good rule of thumb is to start with what you would like your customer acquisition cost to be. So in this case, if it is a $2 book or a $2 widget and you want to break even, make $2 your manual bid because that's your break even point and you can adjust from there. Just a rule of thumb. But no matter what, you need to know your customer acquisition cost. Finally, the number 4 KPI is knowing your audience. I would argue that the success of your business starts right here. Because if you don't know your audience and you don't know what they want, you don't know what they're looking for, you don't know what they want in the future, it's going to be hard to build a business, okay? So I'm not even talking about just demographics like their age, where they live, what they like to do, but I'm also talking about their psychographics. And this is where a lot of people and a lot of businesses don't get to. They stop at demographics. Well, all my people are in their mid-20s, making $50,000 a year, and they live in New York City. That's only half the equation. So to nail down your audience, you need to know the demographics, which you can get on your Google Analytics, which you can get on your Facebook Audience Insights if you've got your pixels set up. But you also need to know their psychographics. Now, the best way to do this would be to watch my video on identifying customer needs. It takes you through a process of how to find those psychographics. So click right here. It'll take you to that video. You can watch it and understand a little bit more. But know your audience. So Facebook has this really cool thing called Facebook IQ. And what they'll do is they'll put out reports from all the studies that they've been running with their advertising. Because think about it. Facebook wants to deliver quality ads to their customers to make them happy, but they also depend on advertiser revenue to build Facebook. So it's also in their best interest to make sure your ads work, because if they don't, you're not going to spend money on Facebook, right? So know your demographics and know your psychographics to cater towards your audience. And then you can start building out your other KPIs, but you have to have that audience foundation first. So those are some of the key numbers you need to know to expand and increase your marketing's effectiveness. Hope that helped. I'm Brandon Stiles, digital marketer in Atlanta. We'll see you guys next time.